Man, tier 10 tanks are so fast. So we're playing on Cliff. This is a map that I remember from way back. And it looks nothing like I remembered. It looks visually spectacular. Is this all part of the 1.0?
Yes, it is. So what we did, we changed an engine and we reworked all the maps. When we understood how big it is, I think the first map we worked was Monastery, also one of the oldest map. And then we understood that nobody is able to recognize what the is that.
So World of Tanks 1.0 to me sounds like something that happened in 2010, but it's not. It's current and it's almost analogous to a remaster. So what were the major goals that you wanted to accomplish with 1.0?
There are three main goals we were trying to hit. The first one is it's a refreshment of experience. Two of the most important sensory organs of a human being is eyes, right, for visual perception, and ears for audio perception. And these are two things that we modified the most. Secondly, we were trying to hit new audience, because for our hardcore, loyal players, it almost doesn't mean anything how the game looks like. It doesn't have very much value, right? However, for new people, it might be something very important. They won't feel they are joining something that is, I know, a decade old or something like that. And the third goal was to unleash our own capacity. We not only changed the graphical part, we changed it in actual engine and how it is architectured. So we now will be able to do more and faster than we ever been able before. So we actually have a tool right now that is also 2018.
So we're here in the standard mode. This is the bread and butter of World of Tanks. We happen to be at the absolute upper echelon of it with our tier 10 tanks, but the core game mode remains the same. Can you talk me through what the standard battle is and how you win?
Super simple, kill everybody or capture their base. You do not need to understand them even, you just need to shoot red things. If you're good at that, you will win.
And that's kind of indicative of World of Tanks gameplay overall. You could very easily just shoot a tank, like I just did, but you can see armor not penetrated. There is a layer of depth underneath the simplicity.
Tank per se, it's pretty interesting object from, like physical perspective, because by angling your vehicle, you can strongly influence how well you are protected versus how badly you are protected. You can deflect sometimes with a paper-thin armor, basically anything that game can throw at you.
So there's a lot of historical military action games that incorporate infantry, tanks, aircraft. Why is World of Tanks just tanks?
I do remember from my childhood, I was born back when USSR was still in there, right? The first memorial I like really remember was a memorial of a tank, the TT-34 in the city of Kiev, standing on a rock. It was something super important for everybody who was raised back then in ex-Soviet Union. One Wargaming asked me, I immediately jumped on the opportunity to join. At some point, I remember in the office, I think, one of our designers was playing tanks, and I was standing behind him and watching, and then I figured out that it was like a lightning strike for me. But in that particular game, it was the only place where I have seen it's done through rotation. So you were angling like, like a knight of the Middle Ages with a shield. You were angling and kind of deflecting shots, and it was a sentient, like intelligent action. And I was like, oh, whoa, let me try that, please. What? So how did you do that?
So I'm playing as an artillery tank, and it's all about trajectory analysis and trying to nail tanks that are static. Oh, the damage! It's insane. Was that an intentional design decision to design a totally different experience for some tanks?
It is. When it was originally designed, somebody said we need to have a class that is designed for people who are playing and drinking beer.
Wow, those physics on that wall. I'm used to it just disappearing.
Yeah, so it's something we added with 1.0. It's a havoc destruction. It's not universal, so we are not destroying houses like that. Mainly because there is no. No, please don't. My friend destroyed my cover. That's exactly the reason why we are not making havoc to destroy any building on the map.
So World of Tanks initially released in 2010. When do you think the game first experienced extreme success, and what have been the big updates since then?
When it became big, I think when developers first understood that server capacity that we were renting was not enough to host everybody who was trying to jump in. That was a very big crisis, you know, the risk of success.
That's a good problem to have, though.
It's a good problem to have, but it's also very scary. I mean, I can imagine how back then guys were, you know, running on fire because you never know, will these players ever return if you will not be able to serve them right now. And since then, lots of things has changed. Basically, I think if you will load up a version that I have started, 2012, you will not be able to recognize the game at all. Everything is rebuilt.
So we're here on Redshire. There's some huge visual differences with this map. There's a giant crash Zeppelin over there. Are there gameplay changes as well?
Some, yes. That exact Zeppelin, for example, is creating a new safe places from artillery fire. Generally speaking, we were trying to avoid doing drastic gameplay changes everywhere except cases where they were badly needed. First of all, because it's very hard to recognize maps even if you know them well. And I didn't say probably if you know them really well, it becomes even harder to recognize them.
Oh! Friendly fire there, don't show that.
Massive hit from a height.
So there's big heat effects, big fire.
Yes.
There's some big sound improvements as well.
Yeah, that is correct. Oh, you're doing really well, by the way, here. We have changed basically all the music, all the ambience that was in the game before. We have changed lots of supportive sounds as well. Some shots, explosions, fire. So the biggest change is the music itself. So now the music kind of tries to follow up what's going on in the battle.
But it's dynamically blended together to make it feel epic.
Yes,
winning.
totally. It's dynamic, so it uses instruments and fragments of bad position, very bad position.
I mean, I always seem to get tracked in the worst position.
Oh, look, you know, people are generally trying to track people when they are getting into a bad position.
So obviously the 1.0 update is a big deal, but what does the future of World of Tanks hold after that?
We just got a powerful tool in our hands, and it's somewhat similar to what console generations are bringing, right? So we have this, our first version, and it's the first game on the new console generation. Right now we are fully focused on delivering this great customization or ability to players. We are going to continuously improve the ranked battles and game in general. We are trying to redefine how our clan system is going to work, and thus attract more people into the social part of the game. We are going to build up more and more different gameplay events to our players. So this year will be much richer than any year before that, to provide a relief from everyday heavy, scary battling. I think we are going, definitely I'm not going to spoil what's in there, but I think we're going to proceed along that direction forward, and hopefully we'll make the game much more interesting than it is right now.
Andrey, thank you so much for giving us a look at the past, the present, and the future of World of Tanks. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.